The Walking Dead. Please join me in welcoming to the stage Serratos, Paola Lazaro, and Ross Marquand will be joining us here in a little bit. Welcome them to the stage, everybody. Hey guys. Y'all can sit wherever you want. Hi. Yeah, we have this whole little like IKEA situation, homey looking living room up here.
I might just take a nap.
I know. Are you guys, I think somebody laid down yesterday and I was like, are we doing therapy? I'm down, let's do it. You guys having a good time so far at the Comic Con? You guys enjoying meeting fans?
We're having a great time. I mean, I've been wanting to come to Corpus for a very long time, so.
Have you been to Corpus before?
I have not.
Throughout all of this, I would have guessed maybe you'd been here already, like
I
for
know.
a little research.
I went to a doubled Corpus. We rebuilt Corpus in Mexico.
Right.
So I feel I got here and it felt.
How crazy is
You
that?
guys filmed in Mexico?
We filmed in Rosarito and Tijuana.
Oh, wow.
And Paola, this is your first time at Corpus?
Yes, this is my first time.
Very nice. Well, I know Ross had been here prior. I'm sure he'll just walk up and surprise us at some point. He actually did that the first time I interviewed him 2 years ago. We did we had a few guests from The Walking Dead as well, Dan Fogler, Carrie Payton. And when I had Dan Fogler by himself, because we did one just with him, all the guys came out and surprised us. I'd already done their panel the day before, eating Whataburger, and they all came out, and I was like, what is happening? And it was not
That
planned.
sounds like that.
It does, right?
Was Cooper there too?
Yes, they were all being crazy. I just let them have a good time up here. We talked about The Walking Dead, but they were just like joking and having a great time.
I know, and I'm so sorry, guys, because the guys are such introverts, and you're stuck with two
I know.
extroverts, and we're two
Had to
introverts.
pull it out of them
I
every
know.
time.
We're fun. We're a good time. I swear. We just usually like rely on the extroverts to like do all the talking, and that's most of the men. So we want to be here. We swear.
Well, I am super excited that we have the ladies of The Walking Dead up on stage with us, because talk about strong characters, strong personalities, and not only that, my Latinas up here on stage, y'all. Come on, y'all give it up for our strong Latino women up on stage, which I love. You're gonna have to
Represent. I'm just gonna keep saying.
Well, thank you guys again for joining us. I wanted to do kind of an icebreaker question, and I do believe Ross will be joining us here shortly, so I kind of talked with him about this yesterday, so it's fine. Like, he's gotten his time, so it's fine. Ross is
I'm
good.
checking my phone to see where Ross is.
Oh, we're not gonna text him?
We're good.
We gotta give him crap when he gets up here and be like, bro.
No, actually, you know what? When you introduce him and he comes up on stage, don't make any noise.
Right?
Yes, make him feel
No,
better.
everybody like take out their phones and act like you're just looking at your phone when you do it. So we'll have him up here soon. He did our X-Men 97 panel yesterday with Matt Waterston, and it was really great. So he's gotten a lot of good talking time, but we'll see him here in a little bit. But my question was, like, I just want to kind of do an icebreaker question. It has nothing to do with any of your projects currently, at least I don't think so. I'm wearing my dog pool shirt right now because I got to see Deadpool Wolverine last night, which was really dope. Who's seen that movie so far? Yeah?
Was it good?
Okay.
I gotta check it. I've never seen Deadpool.
Oh my gosh, it's so good.
I gotta check it out. I really do.
And it's definitely adult, so I mean, it's really funny, and there's so many Easter eggs and so many fun things in this. And so we talked a little bit about that with X-Men 97. But I wanted to ask, assuming you guys haven't seen it yet, but would you ever want to play a superhero or a supervillain, and why? You'd be a good villain.
I know.
You'd be such a good villain thing. I would go villain.
I just
too.
thought of it. Yeah, I know. I would do villain. I just lean that
so
way.
good.
Yes. Yeah.
I love it.
A little moodier.
I think they're so much more interesting in some ways to play than a straight character. I mean, some of the superheroes are very complicated too, and they have a lot going on, but villains are fun. Like, they're just fun to play.
Yeah, and I would do villain. What would you do? You would be a hero, no? You would be a great villain.
I'll be a great villain too.
Yeah.
But no, I'll play a hero. I'll be nice.
Maybe an anti-hero. That's always fun. Where you're a hero, but you got like, you're rough around the edges kind of thing.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, that's a dimension to you.
Yeah.
What would your superpowers be?
Oh, I was just talking about this with my girlfriend last night. I don't know if it would be a superpower, but I always say it would be my wish if I had 3 wishes. One of them would be being able to speak and understand every language. So I could just
different.
speak
I
and
like
understand
that.
every language. Yeah.
Wow.
So I can just chat with anybody.
And maybe even like sign language and all languages, right?
ASL, everything,
I
yeah.
love that. That's actually very different. I've never heard that as an answer for that. Very cool.
Yeah.
What would yours be, Paola?
I would want to know what people are thinking. Like read minds.
Read minds? I know.
Yeah.
I thought that would be kind of cool too.
We find out.
Yeah, I love
We
that.
find out what you're thinking.
I like it. So I guess we kind of get into some like your early stuff. We're going to talk a little bit about. I kind of like to go in some kind of an order, but it is what it is. So your background. So I know you grew up in a Mexican Italian.
Yeah, well,
Right.
well, people always ask me what are you when I say Mexican, and that's because I was, raised with my mom. But no, my heritage, I'm like a mutt. I mean, there's Italian, there's Irish, there's French, there's North African, yeah, like a bunch of stuff, Middle Eastern. But I was raised in a Mexican household. My grandparents immigrated from Durango and Guadalajara, and
Are you second generation, third generation? Second generation, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's weird because I feel like a first generation kid because I grew up in the house with my grandmother, and my mom is only 18 years older than me. So, so filming in Mexico, it felt like really cozy to me because you're surrounded by like the culture and the language and the food and everything, and everyone reminds you of your family. Which is also another reason I like coming to areas like this where the Hispanic community is, so large.
Very vibrant. You feel kind of at home. And growing up in Puerto Rico, I'm not sure.
Born and raised in Puerto Rico. I left when I was 17 years old to go to college in New York. So
Columbia, I believe.
What'd you say?
So where did you graduate from college? Or I know you have your master's in theater. Does it?
You said.
Can you hear me? Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. Oh, you got your master's in fine. I thought so. All right. Sorry. What? Who's here? I'm sorry.
Oh, it's
Was somebody important here?
treatment. Oh.
Somebody
Nice.
walk in.
I deserve
Knock it
it.
up for Ross Marquand, y'all. You know what's funny?
That hurt. That felt good. I felt that. Yeah, thank
You know what's funny? Is that worked too well because I was asking questions and you guys kind of trailed off and I was like, oh God, did I ask a weird question? Because we had already planned to do that to you before you got
Gotcha.
here.
I am sorry. I forgot I had to check out this morning because I was mad dash to pick up all my stuff.
Well,
so sorry.
I told him you got your time yesterday, so it's fine. You don't have to. You just shorten your time today. It's all good.
They're more interesting anyways.
No, but that shows his confidence that he knew it was specifically the silent treatment that we had planned it, because if I had walked out and nobody had said anything, I would have been like, no, that tracks.
No, that is not true. Well, welcome to the stage, Ross. We're happy to have you. We did have Ross, as I mentioned, on our X-Men 97 panel yesterday that I was geeking out. I'm gonna tell you right now, like I got off stage and I was like, I was rambling. I was so excited. And one of my friends who was out there was like, you did kind of ramble a little bit. So I was like, I was just I'm just a big geek when it comes to certain things. And so I just get really excited. So sorry if I rambled yesterday. But
So
I'm excited to have
the
you
pillows here, you guys, at some point, all of you should come up on the stage and feel these pillows. I don't know where these came from, but this is the comfiest couch I think
That's what
I've
everyone
ever.
is saying.
It's so nice. I'm like,
If you guys are bothered by too much pillows, you just throw them off. Like I did that at one
it's-
point. There's a lot going on.
cool.
So I was kind of talking about their, where they're from, their families. Like the way I kind of look at that too is growing up in a Latina family or in an Italian family, I would assume, where it's got to be a lot going on. It's like a loud, strong personalities. We get that. We know that here very much. So, so what was that kind of growing up in that environment, and did it lend itself to your future and kind of your career path? Was there any ties with any of that, or?
There was somebody in my family was a pianist, and my grandmother was a dancer, but nobody was really in acting. My godmother was a clown in Puerto Rico.
What?
Yeah, I'm not even playing with you. She was a birthday party clown, payasa tulipan. Yeah, tulipan in English. Yes, so my godmother was a clown. Yeah, she was the only clown I wasn't afraid of. Very charming. But apart from that, no, I didn't really have any ties. I was a writer.
I was going to say, that was your path initially, was a writer, a playwright. I know you graduated from Columbia University, you got your master's.
Yes,
in,
ma'am.
master's in fine arts from Columbia University. Very accomplished writer, a playwright. I know that was kind of like your main kind of path as you started down that road, and I do want to talk about how that kind of veered into where you're at now.
Yeah, I mean, I used to write poems when I was a kid, and my mom used to make me perform them, so I think that's where the acting stuff came in, and I was in commercials for the corrupt government in Puerto Rico and stuff like that when I was a kid. Anyway.
And did you want to end up in this path of acting? Were you really just, I'd rather write? And question for today, do you feel more in your zone or in your comfort zone being a writer, or is acting
There is
now?
no comfort in writing. There is
Okay,
absolutely
no,
no.
I get what you're saying on that. Yeah, no,
That's a
definitely.
very lonely process, and it's very.
But is that where you feel like you want to be? Is that your space, or is acting sort of becoming more and more your space?
I think both. I think both definitely. I'm working on writing a TV show right now. So I think both. Yeah.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
I had somebody ask you a really great question because I research a lot. I look at a lot of interviews, and someone had said, do you see yourself as a playwright who acts or an actor who's a playwright, or like as far as in where you feel like you? I know. I thought that was a great question. I thought I'd ask.
That is a good question. I gotta think about that.
I like that.
I gotta think about that and get back to you.
Yeah, I get you. Well, and then here's a really fun fact about Christian. I thought was really cool. So when you your path was an interesting one that it looked like it could have gone a totally different way. The Olympics are going on right now, guys. If you're not aware, I love watching the Olympics. But what was something that you were kind of early on as a kid that?
I said that one time when I was little, and it's like, people ask me about it all the time. They're like, were you gonna go to the Olympics? I was like, no. I was in competitive sports when I was a kid. So I did competitive figure skating for like 15 years. And
She was a figure skater.
you guys don't listen to me or care about me at all.
I've known you for almost a decade. I've never heard that.
How do I know more about?
Yeah.
Damn.
But yeah, so I was at the rink at like 6 a.m. and then I would go to school and I only went to school as long as I could until like I think second grade, and then it just didn't make sense anymore because I was acting and I was skating so much. And skating's really expensive, and I grew up, none of my family's in the industry. I don't think any of us on the show we're not like netbook or like, nobody has like parents or family members. Oh wait, hang on, Ross is thinking about it. Do any of us have like parents who are actors or in the industry? I don't think any of us. Yeah, but like, so skating is an expensive sport, skates and boot hoop.
Andy's parents had some ties to the theater world.
Oh, theater?
Yeah.
But no, I always thought like when you skate that hard or when you do a sport that hard for so many years, the goal is always the biggest thing, right? And the biggest thing would have been the Olympics, and that would have been so rad. And I competed, but I don't know. Maybe it's something I would have strived for.
I think I looked at that more as that, because you never know. You were very young. I think like 7. I think when that
I
was.
started skating. Oh, I don't know, maybe when I was like 3. And what's fun is my daughter, I got her on skates, I think before her 3rd birthday, at the same rink that I skated at with my same coach from when I was a baby. So it was fun to see her on
so
skates.
Cool. Well, and I guess what I took from that is like, you weren't just like skating around like whatever. You were an athlete. It was competitive
And you know what? I had an epiphany like 2 days ago, which was that in this industry, because you always hear your fellow actors talk about this industry like so romantically, right? Like the art and the this and the that. And so many of my friends went to school for it, or Alana went to film school. Like, and Juilliard is such a big part of so many of our cast members' lives. And I'm like, I don't have that. Like, it's the only job I've ever had. I started doing it when I was a baby. I've never worked any other job. And I'm like, why don't I think of it as romantically? And it dawned on me, because I don't think of it as an art, I think of it as a sport. And I just want to be the best at it and work with the best, but I don't necessarily have that romance about film.
Yeah, that's interesting. That is interesting, actually. So definitely that was kind of an early on kind of path that you almost kind of went on. But I think for us, we love that you chose the path you did. So some of your works that we were familiar with, Twilight, you guys familiar with Twilight? I know.
I love that movie. The vampires, they can fly and shit. It's awesome.
Do you really?
No, I've never seen it. I tried to, actually, it's so funny.
She goes, are you in Twilight? He don't know I skate. She doesn't know I was in Twilight.
I was actually in Costa Rica a few months ago for a con, and I was flipping through channels, and you popped up in that, and I watched a little bit of it, then I passed out. But not because of you. I'm just saying, I was tired. It was like 2 in the morning, but I was like, oh, Christian, and I was watching. I was like, hey, they're all so pale, and then I just fell asleep. Why is everyone so pale in that movie?
They're vampires.
I was even so pale.
That makes sense, actually. That's a
We
good
filmed
point.
in Portland. I didn't see the sun for months.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, everyone was like translucent. It was wild. Yeah.
I never saw the first one, but I saw the second one at a movie theater in the Bronx, and it was the best experience I've ever had in a movie theater. Go watch a movie in the Bronx. It's very loud. People.
Interactive.
Oh my God, it's an interactive experience. It's incredible.
She did not just do that. She did not just do that.
Christian was like the nerdy, like really.
How dare you?
What's that?
How dare you?
Like, were you nerdy? You were like the.
Yeah,
Like,
I was
glasses.
really humans. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that
I'm gonna look it up.
the nerdy character actually got her a Young Supporting Actress and Best Performance in a Feature Film category at the Young Artist Awards.
God, I'm so famous.
So I know really, give it up.
There's no secret.
Just little iconic things that she's done that really just stick out in people's minds. So I mean, that was a really great role for you, and I'm sure that kind of elevated you in a lot of ways. People started recognizing you. And also, I know you are sort of a big music lover. You're an animal lover and activist. I also know that you have a couple of miniature poodles named, this is not outdated information, Johnny Cash and Gigi.
Yeah, Cash and Gigi, and they had 4 puppies.
Oh my gosh.
And so I had 6 dogs, and then, well, now they're all gone. But they were the
They
best.
passed?
Well, yeah, they don't live forever. But they all live such long lives. They all live to be like 16, 17.
Yeah, see, small dogs do. I have a Shih Tzu mix, and I'm hoping I'll have him for a long
I
time.
know, it's so sad when they go, but also like, I was so scared when I knew they were all starting to go, but they all went at the same time, and now they're all together, and like, what a gift to let them go out and not be in pain. You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Let them do their thing.
Well, we talked a little bit with Ross also yesterday about some of his background stuff. He's done a lot of really cool things. He's doing X-Men 97 now. If you guys have not seen X-Men 97, one of my favorite things. If you saw the panel yesterday, you know, really great story writing, really great character development. He's Professor X. And we had Matthew Watterson up here who plays Magneto. Fantastic show, but he's also in some other really great shows. He does both voiceover and live action, obviously in The Walking Dead, and also as Red Skull. And also he plays voice acting in Invincible, which is another fan favorite character of mine. He's the Immortal in Invincible. So he's just done, and we talked a little bit about the challenges of voice acting as opposed to live action, and how in some cases voice acting can be more challenging, more rewarding, I think, in a lot of ways, and also just as impactful, if not more in some cases, as a viewer, as a fan who watches. Talk about a little bit, maybe reiterate a little bit of that with the challenges of voice acting.
Yeah, I think kind of the point I was trying to drive home. A lot of people look down on voice acting as like a less than art form, which is a shame because I feel like some of the best stuff that's happening right now.
Agreed.
Say again.
I said absolutely agree with that.
It's a shame because I mean some of the best animated stuff. Certainly all the anime that's coming on the last 10 years has been. I don't know if y'all watch Attack on Titan. Like just
Demon Slayer.
Demon Slayer.
Yes.
Just such rich content.
Yes.
It's really, really good. And I was saying, with on-camera acting, you can rely on your face and your body to tell the story as well as your voice. You can emote. You can use your eyes and well up some tears and everything. But you don't have that luxury with voice acting. You have to bring all of it through your voice, and it's a lot more challenging sometimes to do that. The subtlety, the nuances of a performance. So when people say it's not real acting, like the hell it isn't. I mean, it's just as real.
I think that perception has
Some people
shifted,
do say that.
changed. Well, I was going to say, I think that perception has changed for sure within the last, some of the content we've been seeing in the past couple decades. But yeah, I mean, I could see how that is maybe something that's like, it's voice acting as opposed to live action acting. But I think that perception has changed and shifted drastically. I know for me personally, some of the things that have moved me the most, I was telling you, the shows I was watching at that time, Shogun and Fallout, these just really phenomenal shows. But X-Men 97 shot up to the top of my favorite list once episode 5 hit. It was just incredible. So yeah. So and by the way, before before you got here, we talked a little bit about Deadpool and Wolverine. I'm wearing my dog pool t-shirt.
Did y'all watch it?
Last night. Some people have. I saw it last night. These guys got to see it. Tell them where you saw it.
We went to the AMC 16 over here.
Cal Allen, actually. I think it was in the 5 Points area.
Yeah, it was interesting. That was an interactive experience too. Yeah.
wasn't
people were
exactly a nice
talking the entire
theater.
time, and I was like, shut up! But
I haven't been to a movie theater in over 10 years.
10 years?
It's awesome.
Awesome.
Love going to movies.
Oh, I love going to movies too when I'm there. For me, it's like going to the gym. I never want to go, but when I'm there, I'm like, oh, it's great. But I just don't leave my house.
I really love the movie experience, seeing something on a big screen. I know during COVID, a lot of things shifted and changed during that time, but I still love that experience of like being in a theater. And by the way, I think I saw the Easter egg that you might have been referencing yesterday. I'm not going to say anything, obviously no spoilers, but I think there is a little bit of an X-Men 97 Easter egg in the movie. If you can find it, I'm sure it'll come out online. So go check that out. And it's a great movie, guys. You're gonna love it. So I want to get into The Walking Dead. I know time is of essence. I always feel like I ramble too long on these things. So let's get into The Walking Dead, guys. So the last season of The Walking Dead, that was when you were here 2 years ago. That had not aired yet. I believe it was still part 3 hadn't aired
yeah,
yet.
because it aired. The finale aired in November of 2022. So yeah, that was just a few.
And Dan Fogler was up here, and I was kind of like, who lives, who dies? And y'all were, of course, obviously not going to tell us that. But then, of course, we did find out. I did watch, and we did lose some great characters. I really, gosh, Rosita, that last season for you guys. So let's start off with like saying, I know Aaron's character and Rosita's character were definitely there for a good chunk of the time. I know your character, Miss Princess right here. I love your way that you brought the pink fur jacket. So iconic.
I was bringing to the convention.
Iconic. Love it.
Lovely.
I know you guys all had different kind of stints on the show. Definitely Christian was there the longest out of the 3, Aaron shortly after. What was it like for you though, Paola, coming into a scenario where everybody had been doing it for so long, the cast had really gelled, you guys were all friends, and what was that, was there apprehension with that? What was that like coming into the cast?
Of course you get a little nervous about that, but everybody was so welcoming, and I had worked so hard for that role. I worked so hard on those auditions that if you work so hard for something, it's very hard to break you or shake you or make you get nervous, because you're like, no, I worked my butt off for this, so I'm here for a reason. And the fact that everybody was so welcoming,
And what a great role to sink your teeth into.
Oh man, I had a blast.
Oh my gosh. That first scene, like your introduction scene, is just so great. Like your face, like this, I can still shot that face of yours. You just look like just kind of wild.
I don't know why they let me go like, woo! It's like, what am I doing?
Oh, the character is so perfect for you. Like all of that stuff just adds to
He goes, we're going on a mission. I was like, woo! What kind of mission? I was just like, let's go. I had so much fun.
Yeah, awesome. I'd love to hear that, because I do hear really good stories about the cast of Walking Dead and how much you guys love it, the love between you guys, the camaraderie, the friendships. So, a question I have is like, what parts of your character, this is for all 3 of you, did you identify with, and what parts did you have to dive into as an actor to make it feel authentic that was maybe foreign to you? So like, parts like you were kind of mentioning, touching on that, like that was a really good role for you, you felt like that, parts of it that appealed to you, that maybe were part of you, but what parts maybe were not something you had experienced and you had to kind of deep dive that?
I am so similar to Rosita. It's really like just in the body for me. Like her and I are very, very similar. But I don't date. Like I don't want to date. I don't nothing. Like it's so awkward to me. Like yeah, like dating and boys and stuff is just like so whenever, and I feel like she was kind of similar, and I remember talking to production about it a lot, because her character was that she used people, men included, to gain traits and knowledge and stay alive, and it was easy for her to use relationships in that way, and so it was a part of her character, but I also think she probably felt the same way. She's like, oh my god, I have to like
You're kind of like the Black Widow though too, because you have a bad track record with men. Every
And they
man
all die.
you fall in love with dies
Yeah.
horribly.
But when I have to
Like
do like
horribly. Abraham, Spencer, like those some of the worst deaths on the show.
and then they go and I'm like, thank God I don't have to have romantic scenes anymore.
That wrapped up in a nice little bow.
But like flirting scenes and like, I just like can't be bothered. Yeah, it's so cringy, and so I'm like, please kill them off so I don't have to like do scenes with them. But yeah, like I love Seth and I love Michael. They're like some of my best friends, and but having to do romantic stuff or like flirty stuff, like
Hilarious. Paola, how did you feel like you connected with your character, or ways maybe you didn't connect with your character?
It was meant to be. Yeah. If you would have known me when I was a kid, like I was just like this character. I was just a hot mess. Always in the principal's office. I was a class clown in my all-girls Catholic school.
I was Catholic school, I get that.
All-girls Catholic school in Puerto Rico. Yes, ladies. Let's go pray.
I grew up in Catholic school also, but it wasn't all girls, it was boys and girls. But.
I was a class clown. Like that was my thing. So I was just super connected to this character. I'm trying to think if there was anything that I wasn't connected to it. No, I don't think so.
Well, I mean, obviously they saw that in you, and that's why you were just, an easy choice for the role.
Thank you.
So, Aaron, what parts of your character did you connect with? And it doesn't necessarily, obviously, the love interest. Did you connect with that as well? Like, that type of how he was.
I think the thing that I really connected with was his diplomacy. Like, I really feel like I like that part of him. I like the fact that he's always trying to see the good in the people, and I think I tried to do that as much as possible. What I didn't like as much was just how forgiving he was all the time for everybody. Like, he got beat up by Rick, he gets beat up by the Oceansiders, he gets beat up by the Saviors, he gets beat up by the Heapsters. Every single group that he comes in contact with, they're like, who's this nice guy? Let's beat the shit out of him. And I'm like, no, I don't like this. I think at a certain point, no matter how nice you are, you're gonna snap. And I kept telling Scott and then Angela, our showrunners, you gotta let this guy be a little darker. You gotta let him break, every now and again. And it wasn't really until Angela took over and Andy left the show that they said, well, we're thinking about killing off your boyfriend and we're gonna cut off your arm. I was like, okay.
There you go.
That'll probably make him dark.
There's someone there, yeah.
And then my biggest thing was like, can I have my beard back? Because when I got in the show, I had a beard about this length and they immediately cut it off. They were like, that's gotta go. Well, you never saw it because I was shaved by the time I got there. Oh, interesting. Yeah, the first half of the show, I was very clean shaven.
She's so pretty.
And
So gorgeous. I'm sorry, my internet finally worked and a picture of her popped up and she's so stunning. Oh, look at you in Twilight!
yeah.
I love how they're looking you up for like live on stage right now, finding out about you.
Ross without a beard, yes.
So and I just think I have one of those faces that does not look good without a beard. I
disagree. I disagree.
I don't like
I
it.
disagree completely.
You are stunning.
Thank you.
And handsome.
Thank
with
you.
or without the beard.
Well, thank you.
That's right.
But
Ross, you're cute. Everyone thinks you're cute.
I like it. But that was my big thing. Is I thought we should all look pretty terrible because it's the apocalypse and there's no access to clean water and stuff. We should all look pretty terrible, and I thought we should all look really messed up. And I think, unfortunately, as the show went on, we looked more and more put together, which was strange. I didn't understand that, but that was like my
Well, I mean, they also
like that's
also ran into
so dorky. I hate that.
You're not.
It's so dorky. I was like came out of the LL Bean catalog.
Maybe slightly dorky, but not in a bad way. No, so what would you say is your takeaway from the show? So ending, the end of Walking Dead, the closing of all of this, like what an emotional ending to such an amazing, phenomenal show that has spanned so many years for us, and we've been following since early days. So many evolutions have happened. Do you two, and we're going to get into Rosita's character, Rosita's final episode, but do you two, giving that we lived. I love that last scene where they, again, I hope I'm not spoiling this for anybody. This is already, the show's wrapped up for a while now. So, but that when they all say that line, we live on, or there's a line that they all say.
No, we're the ones who live.
We're the ones who live. And everyone repeated that. Like everybody said that line at the end of the final season, the final episode.
They didn't ask you to do it.
Oh, You know why I don't remember that? Because we were back. Remember So Lauren and you were sitting right behind me at the finale, and you all were crying. I had tissues, and I gave you guys tissues. And then, you remember this? Okay. Well, they were crying. They were crying, and then like right after that, they escorted us backstage to go up and do the talk. So I never saw the end of it.
So there's this really beautiful at the very end of the scene where they kind of, it's kind of a, a nice wrap up to things. You see kind of flashbacks of everyone who's been in the show that's died on the show and is still around, and everyone says this line, and it's very poignant. Like it really does kind of grip you a little bit.
Yeah, it's like we're the ones who live.
We're the ones who live, and it's such a nice contrast to a show called The Walking Dead, and it's all about this death and all this, and it's like we're the ones who live. Again, kind of focusing on hope and the future and those who made it. And you two guys did survive The Walking Dead. Do you guys feel a form of survivor's guilt from living The Walking Dead?
No. But only because I think we talked about this. Both of us and Josh and several other actors were saying, kill us. Because we wanted a bloodbath.
Okay, I was gonna ask, this is gonna be one of my questions is like, would you have rather died in this show? Because you kind of get it to sink into your teeth into something like that.
Because we don't know if we're gonna get a spin-off. We don't know. I mean, we wanted to go out in the most heroic, crazy way possible. We wanted to death like Rosita.
Yeah, tell me about it, guys. This death
was badass.
I fought very hard. It took me the whole last year, and I fought for that death, and there was so much back and forth. You're not gonna get it, da-da-da-da-da, this and that. And I wanted the finale to be all about me. And I said, as soon as it was confirmed, I was like, but it's just me, right? Because I didn't want to share.
Well, we got a little bit of Dan Foger's character kind of dying in, but that was also very emotional and sad. But what a way to go, and in such a poetic and heroic way, saving your child, that whole scene was just so, oh my gosh, you have a daughter, right? And she was probably pretty young when you shot that scene, and I'm sure you drew from that, as painful I'm sure that can be.
No, I don't do that specifically because that's psychotic.
Is that really, like, you do try not to do that?
No, of course, like, no, I'm never not gonna imagine my daughter dying, like, that would kill me. But, you're living in the moment anyway. So, like, I felt so connected to Rosita because I had played her for so long. So, losing her was enough for me. Like, I'm losing my friends in the show. We're all going in other directions. I'm not going to see them in this capacity ever again. And the character's sadness was not only her not being there for her child and seeing her child grow up, but leaving her family. And so that loss was enough for me. I didn't need to imagine anything else.
Well, that was an incredible performance by all of you, and your final performance was incredible and very raw with emotion. What closing of this series and Walking Dead, and what has it meant to you? What have you seen now that you're a little bit post at this point, I guess a couple years post, the response from the fans and how that kind of lives on? What have you guys experienced? What do you take away from the experience of Walking Dead? And do you take any lessons or things you've learned on The Walking Dead and have applied it to things you're doing now? Like, what have you taken away from the show?
I love how almost uniformly over 8 years of doing conventions and being on the show, the theme that I keep hearing over and over again, no matter what part of the world I'm in, is that show saved my life in some way, shape, or form. I keep hearing that it helped them get through their day. They see themselves in various characters, and they always keep saying the same thing. It's like, I saw myself in these characters, and we watched it together as a family. And I feel like when I was going through a really hard time in my life, that show helped me through it. And it's mind-blowing, because on the surface, it's a zombie show, right? You never think that a genre show about zombies is going to affect people in that way. But when you hear that, it's nothing short of mind-blowing. It's incredible. You're like, wow. Thank you for telling me that. But it's wild that people connect so much to that show that on the surface is just a horror show. It's pretty wild. Yeah.
Guys, what do you take away from the show?
Just my friendships. Like, we did that show so long, and me and Ross were talking about this. It doesn't matter how long we see each other, it still feels like, because there's a bond there.
Are there text chains and chats that you guys are a part of?
Yeah, Ross isn't on them, but they're
you ever have that moment where like you think you're a part of everybody's text chain and then someone says something, you're like, I don't remember you writing that. Oh, it's in a separate text chain. Like,
No, we don't do those.
Okay.
I don't think we've ever.
I'm not very good at texting.
No.
We're not good at texting.
I'm so bad. I'm so bad. I have a lot of ADHD, like a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know, I get very overwhelmed. I get very overwhelmed. Like, my family has a group chat on WhatsApp, and it's like 350 messages a day. They know, like, I never check it. They know, like, I'm like, I love y'all, but like, no. Like, I'm not, no, there's, why are we communicating this much?
And I don't, we never like chatted, catching up in text because we just wait till we see each other. And like when we were working and we were all gonna hang out after work, we just went analog. I think I was always designated as like, make the reservation. Like you make the reservation, you get everyone, and then I would just analog, man, get everyone.
She was the party planner for sure.
Yeah.
Well, good. I mean, I hope you guys continue staying that close. Like, I talked to a lot of people that I've interviewed, and a lot of them will say, like, yes, we still, like, talk to Joey Fatone, and he's like, it has an NSYNC chat, which I think is just so fun and cool, like, that they still do
Joey's
that.
awesome.
I know.
Joey's the best.
Yeah, he's fun. Before we open it up to questions, and we are going to open it up to questions here in a bit, I have to touch on Selena. Because you're obviously in Corpus Christi, Texas.
Yes.
And Corpus Christi, Texas is the hometown of Selena. We claim her. She's ours. I was telling you, Diamond Phillips, I was interviewing him on Friday, and I told him, you're such a huge staple here also. I call it the Holy Trinity of Corpus. Selena, Farrah Fawcett, and Lou Diamond Phillips. Because it's just, I mean, they're just kind of known for
I know
that.
Farrah Fawcett was from
Yeah, there's a beautiful mural of her downtown if you drive on Water Street. It's gorgeous. It just went up like a year or two ago. And anyway, so it's a big deal for us. Even Langora gets thrown in there too, so we'll claim her too. But yeah, so talking about Selena, I really want to touch on the Netflix series. Talk about an incredible performance by Christian Serratos doing Selena. What, I mean, to do, and again, I draw lines between you and Lou Diamond because, you know, he played Richie Valens, you know, in a classic now. And the pressure that he felt, he said, you know, I didn't feel as much pressure as maybe some other people who do biopics because Richie Valens wasn't as widely known. He was only had a career of 8 months before he passed away. So he said he felt a little more freedom, but he still really deep dived, really did his research, really went down on that. He's really, really serious about that, of course, as an actor. But playing a role like Selena, which is a beloved figure worldwide and here, like, rapidly. What were the challenges on that? But what were you excited about too to do that, to tackle that?
Yeah, well, playing Selena was like a bucket list thing, right? Like if anybody had asked me when I was a kid, who's your dream role? I would have even like hesitated to say Selena because it's just so out of the realm of possibilities. And then when I booked that job, I was so riddled with anxiety and guilt, and because I know so many girls fought for it. And like, I just wanted to do a good job, and I just wanted to make everyone proud, and I wanted to be proud of like the work when I walked away. So it was very complex, it was very difficult, but I was also just so excited to be there. Even now I said like, oh God, I miss playing her because I felt so close to her while doing it, and it felt like my thing to her. But yeah, it was beautiful, very stressful. I mean, so wonderful.
Well, it's capturing Selena, you know, and I think, of course, we're very close to it here. So we look at it as not just this beautiful performer who had an amazing voice and exceptional stage presence and dancing, but it was more than that. For Selena, we all felt like we knew her. We all felt like she was our, you know, sister, our comadre, like somebody who like connected with. She was a hometown girl. She was a second or third generation Hispanic. Also didn't speak Spanish. I don't speak Spanish. I'm third generation, which is terrible. I know I was telling you that. I was like, I'm a terrible Mexican.
No, and I said stop doing that because people only do it to Hispanic communities. Oh, you don't speak the language. They don't do it to any other community when they don't know their mother tongue. So no, you are
such a hard time about it. And like there's like, you know, we talk about Selena, I feel identified with that also, you know, because she was pressured to sing in Spanish and she had to learn that, and you know, she didn't feel like she was doing her culture justice by not, you know, diving into that. But it was really about her spirit, her personality, who she was, and that, capturing that was just so phenomenal how you did that. It wasn't just your mannerisms. By the way that you did your dialect, the way she spoke, the way that you did it was just great. It was so good as Selena. I mean, those are the little things that I was like, yes, girl, you got that. You got that. But also what you brought to her spirit, I think that is such a huge part of it. What did you do? What was the best part of research? Meeting the family, obviously the Quintanillas were a big part of it, but like videos and performances, what do you feel was the most helpful in nurturing and growing that part of her?
It's so funny, it might be unspeakable because obviously I had done accidental research being a fan of her since I was a kid, right? I had already seen so many videos and so many interviews and performances and stuff, but rewatching them in the new context of like acquire all of these things, take them in, you know? But being on set does something. It like really transforms you no matter where you are. When you go to Walking Dead set, as soon as you're in the environment, like the locations, everything do so much for you, like really puts you in the moment, in the body, you know, costume, everything. And so once I walked onto set, after all of my research at home, everything, and you're in the costumes and you're in the house and you're like touching the couch and you're holding the microphone and it's like, oh, okay, it just kind of all clicks into place. But the research was amazing, and exactly what you said, it's difficult because obviously when these biopics happen, they do comparisons and side-by-sides, and was the performance the same, and did she lift her hand at the right time, and was she wearing the Band-Aid, and did she start on the left side or the right side? But at a certain point, you can't really worry about that. At least for me, that wasn't the most important. I was like, I don't care if we're identical, because the reason Selena was so, felt like family to all of us is because of her heart and because of her soul. And for me, I was like, guys, we have to pick one, and unfortunately one has to come second, and it has to be perfection. It has to be mirroring everything exactly, because we really need to strive for her heart and soul. Because that's what's gonna connect everyone else, and if that's correct, then it'll all fall into place. And fuck it, you know, if we're not identical, if I start the opposite direction, that's just gonna be what it has to be. Because it can't be our concern. We have to just focus on today.
I mean, if that's the case, they just, you know, get someone who's an impersonator that can look like her and dance like her. There's a lot of people that can do that. Honey Andrews, I don't know if you met Honey Andrews, but she's here today. She dresses as like, she's kind of like a big hero. Anyway, so it's like you can get someone that does all of that, but to capture her essence is like what the challenge is. And I thought you did a fantastic job doing that. So yes, that was amazing. We're so lucky that we got to see another iteration of, you know, we did have Jennifer Lopez in Selena, and that was her take and her.
And it was great.
And it was great. It was amazing. But I thought you added a great element to another element, and an extended element, because we got to see it over, you know, many episodes rather than just a film. So you guys, Christian and Selena, that was amazing. You guys want to start lining up for questions? We're running a little late, but let's go ahead and get some people up here on the mic, and we'll do a few questions. Would love to see you guys jump up on the mic. I'm looking at you, girl. Get up on there. And we'll do some speed round questions real quick. We don't have a lot of time. We are running. Yep, I'm sorry. Oh, sorry. Wait, all right, well, maybe we're not gonna do questions. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and, are we gonna wrap things up then?
What's your question?
Okay, sorry. Just one, we'll just do one question here real quick.
Hi, Lydia.
Hi. What is each of your favorite episode of The Walking Dead?
Look at the flowers. There's two of them called Look at the Flowers.
It's called The Grove. That
Oh.
episode's called The Grove.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, but we
Grove.
But that's my favorite too.
Yeah.
Oh, I like the finale and the premiere episodes for the two that we were on. Yeah. Even though that's the most brutal, but like I feel like that was just. I was miserable. I hated it. At one point, I was like, "Is this legal?" That we were so cold, and all of our knees were bruised from being on the like. It was terrible, but it was so fun.
I think it was, I don't think it was fun, but it was the best acting I think we've ever done in that show.
Because we all got to like play, and we could all trust each other and just like go for it. And
It was the hardest thing to contemplate. You might be dying, or the person next to you might be dying, but someone's gonna die, that's for sure. And to know that we were gonna lose two of our most beloved cast members in one fell swoop was like, Jesus. It was awful but awesome. I think it's the best work we've ever done on the show.
100%.
Yeah.
Right. Well, we gotta wrap things up, guys. I'm so sorry we didn't get a chance to do more questions. I do want to highlight this girl right here in the front, Tegan. I want to show her makeup.
Your makeup looks
Coming up
great.
here just to show these guys.
Oh, no.
She also met Chandler Bing last year. We had Chandler Riggs up here.
Is this a
And she
cigarette?
got a picture with him.
That's sick.
Isn't that cool? She got a picture with Chandler Riggs, who was here last year, and he was very impressed by it also. And it's very cool.
Yourself?
Thank you so much. It's awesome. So the fandom lives on, guys. I want to give a big round of applause to our guests today. We watched Ross Marquand. Y'all give it up for the cast of Walking Dead. Go check them out at any current projects. And go check them out at their booths for autographs and photo ops. Those of you that are not VIP, please exit out the back door VIP. You can park it here if you'd like and stay put, but everyone needs to go out the back area and then come back before next panel if you like. Thank you, guys.